Hello fellow collectors and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the 4 Star Wars The Clone Wars retro carded figures from Hasbro. We have ARC Trooper Echo, Obi Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, and Clone Pilot Hawk. I believe these are Target exclusives, and I'm thinking today must have been the official release date or street date for these, because a lot of people were kind of finding them trickle out early and they were really hit and miss. And then today I've seen a lot of pictures online of people saying there's a display in the middle of the aisle and there's just a ton of them out there. And they also went up online on Target.com today, so I'm thinking today must have been the official street date. But yeah, these look great, really fun. It's kind of hard to believe that Clone Wars, the cartoon, is old enough now to get retro carded figures already. But I guess that's true. It's been at least, 15, maybe even almost 20 years? It's crazy to think about that. But in any case, we have some Black Series figures. It's kind of that weird mishmash of a realistic look, but in the outfits from the show. You can see that the CG artwork is here on the box. You can kind of compare it to the figure. It's kind of weird. It's kind of when they did the Rebels, it was kind of the same thing where you have to kind of take the stylized CG look and translate it to like a more realistic look for the Black Series. But I think all these were done pretty well. And I love this retro packaging. I just think this is so cool. You have the Clone Trooper helmet as the card, and then you turn around to the back. Not really much going on in the back. Just kind of has the 50th Lucasfilm anniversary timeline going on here. Even though, the first movie didn't come out until 77, Lucasfilm was actually founded in 71. So it's as old as Kamen Rider. There you go. Not really much else going on here. Just the name of the character. And yeah, so pretty much everything exciting is going on in the front of the packaging. But I think these look really cool. I was excited to pick them up. I saw on the Target app that they were in stock, and I just ran over to my local store, and they were right there. It was a display right in the center of the aisle between toys and electronics, and there was a ton of them. So if you're looking for them, I would definitely recommend checking your local Targets today, because they should be out in force. But I'm going to go ahead, get all these guys out of the packaging here, and we're going to take a closer look. So here they are out of the packaging, and I have to say they all look really, really good. We'll start over here on the left with Hawk. Just going to move these guys a little bit to the side here. He looks really cool. I really like the design. The helmet looks fantastic, really nicely painted. Now he does have the connecting tubes to the piece on his chest, so that does limit his head articulation just a little bit. But you can still move the head up and down, side to side. You have some weathering here on the shoulder pads, but you have really nice range of motion there in the shoulders. The shoulder pads don't really get in the way at all. And then he has he actually is the only one that has the double jointed elbows. Everyone else has a single elbow joint, but we'll get to that more later. And then he's got a wrist swivel and a hinge. Where's the hinge? There it is. Hinges that way. He's got some movement in the abdomen, as you can see. Range of motion there, so that can move side to side. The belt is a little loose, so that can kind of move around a little bit. Ball joint here in the hip, which is a little hindered by the thigh armor, but that does spin side to side as well, so you can move it around to get some movement there. And then he's got double jointed knees, and then he's got a hinge and a rock back and forth in the ankle. So a lot of great articulation. The paint application's really, really solid in my opinion. Really good looking figure. He comes with the one blaster. And he does have the trigger finger that can fit inside the trigger, which looks good. So yeah, overall, really like this guy quite a bit. I'm just a big fan of like Clone Trooper armor, Stormtrooper armor in general, so I think he looks really, really good. Let's see if I can get him to stand. There we go. All right. Next up, we will move on to Anakin. Anakin looks really good, like even better than I expected. The face sculpt is, I don't know, it's not bad. It's not perfect in my opinion, but there's nothing really wrong with it. Again, it's the translation of CGI into kind of a more realistic look, which obviously works better for Clone Trooper helmets and things like that. When you don't have to worry about a realistic looking face. But he's got nice movement. Now, the neck moves at the base of the neck and at the base of the skull. So you do have a decent amount of movement there. Rock side to side, up and down. Rotate pretty well. Now, I've been having a little bit of an issue with these shoulder pieces. I think they're connected inside to this kind of chest piece here, because you can see the arms move and they don't move with them. But when I got it in the package, it was kind of way off to the side. I kind of had to bring it back. So I think there is some ability to move these. It doesn't hinder shoulder articulation at all, which is great. He doesn't really have a butterfly joint is what I'm trying to say, but he's got the hinge and the swivel there. And then he's got the single elbow, but he's also got a rotation there at the elbow as well. And then he's got a wrist hinge and rotation as well. So decent movement there. The chest piece looks really good. And then that comes down into his skirt, which has a cloth piece underneath, which is nice. I think that works really well. The cloth underneath looks good. And then you have kind of a soft rubber plastic over top. And then he's got his gloves, and then he's got the kind of, more significant glove for the robot hand over here. Lightsaber looks great. We'll go ahead and take this out of his hand for a moment before we continue on with the articulation. Of course, the blade can pop out. Just go ahead, take that off. And then this does have a peg on the side, and there's a peg hole here on his belt. So if you would like to clip the lightsaber hilt to his belt, we can do so. Let's get that on there. There we go. Looks pretty good. He does have typical hip joints. They're a little encumbered by the skirt, but for the most part, pretty good range of motion there. I'm pretty sure he has a thigh. Yeah, he has a thigh swivel. He's got double jointed knees. And then I don't think he's got a rotation at the boot, but he does have the hinge and then the rock side to side and the ankle. So overall, really, really sharp. Really like the look of him. These little pieces on the side are a little wonky, but I feel like if you just play with them enough, you can get them to where you want. Yeah, he looks really, really cool. I like him quite a bit. Next up, we will move on to Echo. I really like Echo again. I'm just a huge fan of the Stormtrooper armor. Especially, I like the Phase 1 helmet with the little fin. I think that looks really, really cool. This can come down in front of the eye, which is pretty neat. And then, of course, this does come off. He does have his face underneath, which I think they did a really good job. This one's really successful. Really nice job there. And it might be because this character actually has a human counterpart. I mean, I know they all do, but this kind of looks like the actor, whereas they didn't really try to make these... Well, this one kind of looks like Ewan McGregor. This one doesn't look as much like Hayden Christensen to me. It looks fine. It just doesn't really look like Hayden Christensen. But I think the head sculpt on this is really well done. He's got his signature handprint there. The ARC Trooper armor looks really good. He comes with the two smaller blasters, and they do have the holsters on the side that they can go into. So you can take these off, and they slide right in for storage there on the side. Works really well. He's got shoulders, pretty typical of everyone else. I don't think any of these guys have butterfly joints, but they have hinges and swivels. He's got a single elbow plus a rotation. He's got the wrist swivel and hinge. He's got the same kind of torso like that. I feel like his hips are the most encumbered because of the skirt pieces out of all four of these guys. I feel like I can't really move it around all that much. He does have a thigh swivel. He's got double jointed knees. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He's only got single jointed knees. But he's got a rotation there, and then he's got the hinge and the rock. But I think there's some nice detailing here on his shin pieces, nice paint applications. The soft skirt looks really good. I love that it has the holsters for the guns. And of course he does come with a smaller blaster, which is the same as the one that came with Hawk. And then he's got the larger rifle as well. So he does come with a decent amount of weaponry, which is pretty cool. And then he's got this little backpack here on the back. I kind of wish I could store the smaller gun on here, but no such luck. But at least he's got the holsters for the small blasters. And the helmet goes on very easily. Just pop it right on, no big deal there. He looks great. Really, really well done with this figure. And last, but certainly not least, I feel like I have trouble getting him to stand. And I think it's because of the lack of movement in the hips, but we'll see. But as I was saying, last but certainly not least, we have Obi Wan. He looks great, really sharp. I love how he has kind of like the mostly like armored arms and legs, like Stormtrooper type armor. I've always liked that look for him. Head sculpt looks really good. They did a really nice job with this. And he's got the same articulation at the base of the neck and the base of the skull. So a lot of nice movement there. He's got a similar kind of deal, but his is actually attached to the arms. So instead of having a piece kind of connected to the torso part of the armor like Anakin does, he can actually move that around, so it doesn't really hinder any movement there. He's got the single elbow joint with the rotation, and then he's got the hinge and the rotation in the wrist. And then his torso is a little bit more static, I guess is a word to use. He doesn't really have that same kind of like ball joint type movement. He's just kind of got like a waist swivel. Well, he does. I don't know. It's kind of a weird joint. He can kind of ab crunch a little bit, but mostly he moves side to side. This is a soft rubber piece, but you can get pretty good range of motion because they have the slit on the side with his legs. So he's got a nice ball joint there. Thighs swivel. He does have one joint. Yeah, he's got one knee joint, and then he's got the ball joint in the rock in the ankle. So kind of a weird mixture of, you know, some people have double elbow joints, some people have double knee joints, but they're not all the same. But they all do look good. So I really like all four of these. I was really hard, like having a debate whether I should keep them in the package or open them, but ultimately I decided to open them. One, to review for you guys, and also just because I wanted to play with them. They look great. But I'm really happy with these. I definitely recommend checking them out. Like I said, I'm pretty sure today was the official release day for these Target exclusives, I believe. So head over to your local Target, and hopefully they still have a bunch of them. But definitely recommend picking these up. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.